there's really many reasons to pick calisthenics as the main discipline, aside from the cool physics you see people having as the result of doing the cool exercises. I think the movement in itself is really healthy and looks really nicely and is a way of expressing yourself through strength. And I think that says a lot about the practitioners of calisthenics, the discipline it takes for them to master those, and the hours you have to put in order to achieve such a feat, because I don't think it's easy. Sure, in absolute terms, they're at the beginning of the gymnastics movements, but in relative terms, if you think about it, a lot of people can't really do a pull-up, so achieving something like a front lever or a planche is really a rare feat in and of itself, and I think it's quite difficult, especially if you haven't started sports at a young age. I think you have to put in your thousands of hours in order to get something reliable and not injure yourself. And I think that's what I'm trying to achieve here as well, because back in 2019, I started my journey with calisthenics, and I really quickly got injured myself, and I deferred to going to the gym and attempting to get the physique and strength that way. And that didn't really turn out that well for me. I ended up quitting around a month ago, and every now and then I come here to the park to attempt to essentially master some of the calisthenics basics that are the prerequisites for the main exercises. And this is what I'm doing here as well. I'm trying to do some tuck front lever negatives with the hope of one day achieving the full front lever. And yeah, it's going to take me a lot of time and a dedicated effort, but that's what I'm here to do. And I feel like a lot of this goes unsaid on the internet, because you see these people just doing these movements flawlessly. Like they just go on a bar or on rings and move like they've done it a million times before. And that's probably because they've done it tons of times before. I think that's how people achieve this. Let's not be unrealistic. It's just that you see the end result, not the process. And I think my job here is to document what such a process takes, from the day-to-day struggle of learning things, of experimenting, and of attempting to be intentional about the things we're doing. So in general, you would develop some weak links all over your training journey. But if you're at the very beginning, you don't have such weak links. Everything is weak, and you have to do the basics in order to get everything up to a certain level, from where you can decide what is weaker in relation to what and what needs to be addressed. In my situation, I think I'm weak as a whole in terms of the pulling strength, and whatever means horizontal pulling, I haven't been focusing on that in the past, and I think it shows. It shows both in my physique, because my mid-back is quite underdeveloped compared to my V-taper, and my lats usually dominate everything. And in this particular scenario, my retraction isn't as good as it needs to be to maintain that position. And one of the things I'm really certain after this training is that I'll have sore teres major, maybe some lats, but none of the mid-back will be affected by this. As you could see, while I was attempting to lower myself, my back kept rounding, and the upper back kept on giving its space, basically. So that's what I'm trying to address with the following exercise. I'm going to do 2 more reps and then move on to some Australian pull-ups or inverted rows, whatever you may call them. And I'm doing that with a focus on moving my shoulder blades back and together. And I'm trying to simply nail the hundreds of reps required to learn that movement and get it stuck in my system. And I hope that will carry over to the front lever. And you may wonder, as well as myself, why I'm not doing multiple reps within a set. And that's because, well, one, I basically can't. I'm working at the limits of my own capacity because I haven't been training this sufficiently, and I'm going in rep after rep, trying to improve my motor control over each and every single rep. And I'm trying to put as much tension as I can in both extending my arm and using my lats in order to do this particular motion of bringing, or rather slowing the movement down, because I can't really oppose the motion yet. I can't really resist gravity too much in that regard. I have quite a small angle of control over this particular motion, and I think eventually my lats will catch up and they will be able to essentially extend my shoulder. Let's go easy on these and focus on reaching back with my elbows. Let's widen the grip a little. Maybe this will help with some upper back control. Okay, that definitely feels heavier on the upper back. I want to keep going to hammer in my upper back. So this is the way I enjoy approaching training, whatever is new. I prefer learning the motor control first, using higher reps and getting a really healthy pump, because it will first help the joints in order to get a bit more blood flow, and second, you learn a lot faster from doing a lot of reps. At least that's been my experience with calisthenics. Your mileage may vary. Whenever I focused on reaching a higher level of fatigue using higher reps, I've gotten better, faster results, and my joints felt a lot better as well. I'm going to attempt to do another grip here as well. Okay, I'll take another short break and then get back to it. So one of the future developments in my training would be reverting to what's been working in the past for me, and that's a pull legs push split, because I enjoy having one focus day for anything that's a major goal for myself, and that would be the front lever and a high count of pull-ups or a strong variation of a pull-up for my pulling chain, and then some hypertrophy for my legs. And for the push chain, I'm aiming for 30 to 40 dips by the end of the year, unbroken, with a full lockout and a really large range of motion. And attempting to do so for multiple sets means I have to allocate a lot of time in a training session for each individual set. And I think this concludes today's training for me. And moving forwards, I'm going to attempt to reach the goals I mentioned earlier. And that means tomorrow would be a leg session, and I'm hoping to do it in the park, but if anything, I'll do it at home using some dumbbells, lunges, and whatever I have available.